This week's Champions League fixture sees AC Milan travel to Anfield to face Liverpool, first time ever in a competitive setting. Despite the fact that they've only met twice, Liverpool and AC Milan's recent history is intertwined by two significant finals. Most recently, Milan triumphed in 2007, with Pippo Inzaghi's 2 goals denying Liverpool a 6th Champions League. But the most famous encounter took place in 2005. Paolo Maldini scored in the first minute, with Hernan Crespo scoring twice more in the first half to put Liverpool down in the dumps, desolate of energy and confidence. Talisman Steven Gerrard's powerful header regained Liverpool a little shred of hope. Then Vladimir Smicer powered past Didi into the bottom corner to make it 3-2 just 2 minutes later, and just 3 minutes after that, Gerrard was brought down by Gennaro Gattuso in the box for a penalty. Xabi Alonso stepped up and missed, but converted the rebound to ensure that the miracle comeback was completed. Liverpool endured a siege-like onslaught from Milan, including an extra time when Andrei Shevchenko both had one cleared off the line and saved miraculously by Jerzy Dudek. And starting with the poll, we'll now see where those stars of 2005 are today. Starting off with Jerzy Dudek. Dudek signed for Liverpool in 2001 as part of a bizarre double goalkeeper signing with Chris Kirkland. He will go down in history, being the keeper to deny Shevchenko and others in that shootout, but that is probably where his career peaked, as many would have expected. He was immediately replaced by Pepe Reina, and then moved to Real Madrid in 2007, where he would see out the rest of his career until he retired in 2011. He now works as a UEFA ambassador. At right back, we had Steve Finnan. The Northern Irish right back is widely regarded as one of the most underrated players to pull on a red shirt in recent history. Always dependable, he arrived from Fulham in 2003, having played in every division in English football. However, he was an early casualty and make weight for Rafa Benitez in Istanbul, being replaced by Didi Hamann in the 46th minute. To no fault of his own, however, as it was Benitez's tactics that were wrong. He left Liverpool in 2008, having faced stiff competition from Alvaro Arbeloa and then new signing Philip Degen, and his career quickly tumbled down a cliff with poor spells at Espanyol and Portsmouth. He quickly settled into a non-footballing career though, working in property. However, after it was revealed that he was relatively successful, it was released in 2020 that his property company had gone into liquidation. Hopefully everything goes well for Steve and he can get back on his feet soon. The first centre-back is Sammy Heppey. Sammy Heppey is known as one of the biggest bargains in Liverpool's history, joining from Willem II in a £2.6 million deal. Immediately settling as a leader under Gerrard, he was named captain before bequeathing to Steven Gerrard in 2003. As was his character, he did so unceremoniously and with great honour. He was a key figure in the build-up to Istanbul, scoring against Juventus in the knockout stages, and defending resolutely against Chelsea in the next round. Heppey had 4 more years at Anfield before he left for Bayer Leverkusen, where he became manager. He then had spells at Brighton and FC Zurich, but both were poor. He was last known to be assistant manager in his homeland at FC Hacker, but left after just 3 months last year. Jamie Carragher. Carragher has gone on to have one of the best off-field careers out of any in this list, working regularly as a pundit for Sky and alongside former rival Gary Neville. His footballing career is not to be sniffed at though. 737 appearances, a one-club man for Liverpool Football Club. Nothing epitomised Jamie Carragher like his performance at Istanbul. Passion and Carragher had become synonymous in the 9 years that he had been a first-team regular before Istanbul, but the two had never synced so perfectly since that night. Proper defending, tackles, blocks, charges. Carragher did it all. He left everything on the pitch, and that's exactly what he was known for. Even his temper when he had a massive go at Jerzy Dudek. 8 years later, he retired in front of an adoring Anfield crowd and immediately took up a punditry role with Sky. Djibril Traore. If you're not a hardcore Reds fan, you'll likely know Traore from the taunts from actual fans saying, at least Djibril Traore won a Champions League. But Traore was more than just a pirouetted own goal merchant. He made a vital block on the line to deny Andrei Shevchenko in extra time. He arrived 4 years prior, again under Houllier, but never really flourished until Rafa Benitez arrived at the club. He left the Reds a year after the Champions League success, joining Charlton Athletic as the first of a flurry of clubs before his retirement. He since joined Portsmouth, Rennes, AS Monaco, Birmingham and Marseille before ending up at Seattle Sounders, where he would finish his career, where he would end up coaching until just a month ago. It's a shame for Jimmy, but hopefully he's back in football soon. John Arnorisa. Thunderbolt, Crackerjack, Belter. onomatopoeic word association with John Onorisa and his magic left foot. Despite missing a penalty in the penalty shootout against AC Milan, Risa's blushes were spared as Liverpool lifted number 5. Risa arrived in 2001. He made his impact in style with destructive performances against the likes of Manchester United, Bayern Munich and Everton. During the Champions League winning campaign, he scored in the forgotten League Cup final, but it's not forgotten for Chelsea fans that it was José Mourinho's first ever trophy. It was the fastest ever goal in a League Cup final, and it still stands today. He played for 12 years after that final, having lengthy spells at Roma and Fulham before having spells in Cyprus, India and Norway. He joined Maltese club Birkirkara as sporting director in 2019. Due to personal reasons, the spell only lasted 3 months. Later that year, he made his first foray into coaching, where he was appointed in his current role as the head coach of Norwegian 3rd Division side Flint Tonsberg. Xabi Alonso. One of the 3 goal scorers that night, Alonso wrote his name into Anfield folklore with the very strike of his rebounded penalty past a despairing Dida. Joining the Revolution in 2004, Xabi was one of 4 Spaniards in the squad that night. He played a starring role for the Reds under Rafa until he, somewhat questionably, tried to sell him in favour of Gareth Barry. A year later, after that Gareth Barry debacle in 2009, he departed for Real Madrid and had a very successful career, lifting the trophy with them as well. He joined Bayern Munich and won 3 more Bundesliga titles before he retired. He now manages boyhood club Real Sociedad's B team and was strongly linked with the job at Borussia Mönchengladbach before he signed a new extension with his hometown club. It's widely thought that he will take over from Imanol Alguacil when he retires or moves on. Steven Gerrard. Arguably Liverpool's greatest player of the modern era, Steven Gerrard was the revitalisation of energy that Liverpool needed at Istanbul. Gerrard made his debut in 1998 and was made captain, often felt frozen out by Rafa Benitez after his arrival. His last-minute strike against Olympiacos ensured Liverpool's progress to the last 16, after their disappointing start to the group stages. It still wasn't his most memorable moment of the Champions League campaign. Gerrard's powerful looping header over Dida revitalised the crowd, and his whirlwind arms, his "come on!" it got Liverpool back into this. Post-Istanbul, Gerrard repeatedly carried his Liverpool sides greater than their means, and was always regarded and always will be regarded as one of the best to ever pull on a red shirt. After leaving, he joined Los Angeles Galaxy for 2 years before returning to the Reds in a backroom role in the academy. His success here, including managing the likes of Curtis Jones, earned him a place at Glasgow Rangers as manager. He's since led them to their 55th league title, as well as leading them to the latter stages of the Europa League. Harry Kewell. Harry Kewell was always a case of what if. A dynamic, skillful winger whose reputation was sky high when joining Liverpool. He was always ruined by injuries. His first campaign at Anfield was decent, scoring 7 times, the joint second top scorer at the club, and then Rafa Benitez arrived. That campaign he only scored once, but did earn himself a start in Istanbul. However, it was to be short-lived. After just 23 minutes, he was hauled off the field in place of Vladimir Šmicer. One to forget, but also one to remember, as Kewell played his part in one of the greatest finals of all time. He stayed with the Reds until 2008 before moving to Galatasaray. He then joined Melbourne Victory, had a spell in Qatar, and retired at Melbourne Heart, which is now Melbourne City. He's been an ambassador for the Asia Cup, as well as being an ambassador for a number of brands such as Jeep and Politics Menswear in Australia. But over in England, he's been a manager in the EFL. Having left Watford as a youth team coach, he's managed Crawley Town, Oldham Athletic and Notts County, and now resides in Barnet. Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia had a relatively low profile role in Istanbul in terms of actual big moments, but it was in the run-in that Luis Garcia earned his legendary status at Anfield. Joining from Barcelona in the summer of 2004, he immediately became a fan's favourite. Luis Garcia, he does drink sangria. After his success at Anfield, he had a nomadic career, despite his wonder goal against Juventus and that famed ghost goal against Chelsea. He rejoined Atletico Madrid after leaving Anfield, before enjoying spells in Greece, Mexico and India, before retiring in Australia aged 36 in 2016. Garcia has since moved into the broadcasting world, across various television networks such as beIN Sports, RTE Sports in Ireland and Sky Sports. Milan Barros. Barros was the last active player in the starting 11, retiring last year aged 39. His Anfield career was certainly mixed, scoring 19 goals in 68 appearances. Under Benitez, he'd just come off a Golden Boot winning Euro 2004 campaign and ended up with 13 goals that season, but he never really showed the dynamism that we all expected. In Istanbul, he was substituted after 85 minutes for Djibril Cisse, and apparently, during celebration, he dented the trophy by dropping it. Afterwards, he moved to Aston Villa for £6.5 million, before he had spells at Galatasaray, Portsmouth on loan, then Banik on Ostrava where he would finish his career, despite having interluding spells at other clubs such as Mlada Boleslav and Slovan Liberec. Now onto the bench and substitutions. Vladimir Šmicer. The scorer of the second goal in Istanbul, Šmicer left immediately to join Bordeaux. He would retire with his hometown club Slavia Prague just 5 years later, and then unsuccessfully ran as a political candidate in the Czech Republic. Šmicer has also opened his own hotel in Prague and lives just down the way from his best Czech mate, Patrick Berger. Didi Hamann. De Keyser's presence on the field was magnificent. After coming on at half-time, many believe it was he who changed the game for Liverpool. He allowed Steven Gerrard and Xabi Alonso more freedom in midfield. He had a strange exit from the Reds actually in 2006. He didn't want to leave, but signed a pre-contract agreement with Bolton Wanderers. He then had a change of heart and decided to sign for Manchester City. After that, he joined MK Dons as a player manager, before retiring and going into punditry and coaching. Djibril Cisse. Akin to Kewell, Djibril Cisse is a case of what if. After joining from Auxerre in a club record £14 million move, Cisse snapped his leg in a freak accident against Blackburn, getting his feet caught in the turf. If he hadn't been attended so quickly, it's thought that he could have lost his leg. However, he made a miraculous recovery in the April of that year and came on for Milan Barros in the 85th minute. Cisse was constantly linked with moves away, but also in his next season scored 19 goals. He then joined Marseille on an initial loan after breaking his leg once more, but then returned to the Premier League with spells on loan at Sunderland and then Queen's Park Rangers. He scored in that famous Aguero game to give QPR the equaliser. Cisse actually still plays in the lower reaches of America for a side called Panathinaikos Chicago. In other ventures, he also has his own clothing range and brand. He's DJ'd, Matty's actually seen him by the way, and has acting experience, and has also appeared in the French equivalent of The Masked Singer. Hosemi. Joining for around £2 million from Malaga, he would make 7 appearances in the run into Istanbul. He never truly established himself at Liverpool though, and was swapped for Jan Kromkamp the next January, going the other way to Villarreal. After a lengthy career in Spain, Greece and India, he retired in 2016 and returned to former club Malaga as a match delegate. Igor Bišćan. Bišćan joined the Reds in a £5.5 million deal in 2000, amid competition from Barcelona, Bayern Munich and Manchester United. However, in a brutally honest interview just a year ago, he always said he wasn't good enough for Liverpool. Despite this, his final year at the club, the year that we won the Champions League, was his best. Under Benitez, he excelled in midfield and was a key part in securing the Reds' passage to the final, especially with his performances against Chelsea. He joined Panathinaikos straight after the final before finishing his career at his hometown club, Dinamo Zagreb. 4 years later, he began his managerial career, winning the Croatian second tier with Rudec. He's gone on to manage Rijeka and is now Croatia's under-21 manager. Antonio Núñez. The man famous for being Michael Owen's makeweight, Núñez never got going at Anfield, despite scoring in a League Cup final. Arriving in 2004, he injured his knee in the first training session, keeping him out for 3 months before he could make his debut in that December. He left after the Istanbul win to return to Celta Vigo. He then had spells at Murcia, Apollon Limassol, Huesca and Deportivo, before finishing his career with 4 years at Recreativo. The last heard from Núñez that he began a career in law. Hopefully that's all going very well for him. And finally, the last active player at the top level, Scott Carson. Aged just 20 at the time, Scott Carson started in several matches that season, including the Champions League quarter-final against Juventus. Several loans later, he joined West Bromwich Albion in a permanent deal, eventually travelling to Turkey and before returning to Wigan Athletic and then Derby County in 2015, where he spent 6 years. He joined Manchester City on loan last season before joining on a permanent deal this season. Thank you very much for tuning in to this LFC transferring video. I do hope you found it informative and fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.